My kids left me at Golden Sunset Retirement Community on a Tuesday afternoon. Rain was pouring down. It seemed so appropriate for that kind of occasion. My daughter Diane managed the forms with the precision she applied to her job in finance, as my son Richard, the architect, glanced at his wrist repeatedly like he had a pressing appointment elsewhere. "This is the right choice, Mom," Diane told me, avoiding my gaze. "You'll get constant medical attention. You'll be around folks your age," Richard chimed in, flashing the charming grin he'd honed since he was a kid. "You won't feel isolated any longer." I surveyed the bland space they gave me. Plain white walls, a slim mattress, a tiny pane facing the lot where cars parked. Nothing resembled the house Howard and I had constructed, the place I'd called home for 47 years. The place they were eager to put on the market. "How soon will you come by?" I inquired, maintaining a steady tone. "Once work calms a bit," Diane assured me, already swiping through messages on her device. "We'll stop in next weekend," Richard stated, even though his spouse Victoria stayed outside in the vehicle, not troubling herself to assist with my setup. I agreed and started sorting through my compact bag. I'd only included necessities. A few outfits, Howard's old timepiece, some favorite volumes. They appeared taken aback that I hadn't brought additional items, but why bother? I understood the situation. A depot for a burdensome senior, as they split the remnants of my existence. "Is there anything more you want, Mom?" Richard questioned, obviously ready to depart. "No," I answered plainly. "I'm okay." They looked nearly let down by my calm acceptance. Maybe they anticipated sobs, blame, a reaction to validate their actions. Rather, I offered a faint grin and a gesture as they exited, vowing to phone later that day. They failed to ring that evening or the following one. 7 days went by, then 30. Trips got delayed, virtual chats postponed, eventually dropped. It didn't shock me. At 75, I'd experienced enough to spot when someone was casting me aside. What my offspring didn't realize was that I'd always been beyond merely Howard's partner or the parent of Richard and Diane. Prior to those roles, I was Beatrice Warner, a lecturer in practical math at Arizona State University. My focus was on chance calculations and data evaluation. I could assess risks, spot trends, and devise approaches that caught most off guard. Howard appreciated this side of me. It drew him to me initially. My brain was constantly active, always planning ahead. He was the bold business starter, but I was the strategic thinker who steered him clear of risks that might have ruined a more impulsive tycoon. As the days at Golden Sunset stretched into weeks, I noted every detail. The exhausted workers, the budget reductions masked as improvements, the overlooked inhabitants whose families seldom appeared. I faded into the background, as seniors frequently do, a useful condition for watching without drawing notice. Half a year following my entry, I shared tea with Eleanor, a retired finance leader whose kids had likewise stashed her away, when a staff member brought my correspondence. Amid the typical ads and policy updates was a note in graceful script I knew right away. "Pardon me," I said to Eleanor, carrying the envelope to my quarters. Perched on my bedding, I slid it open with care. Within was a note on Howard's legal office stationery and a brief note. "My beloved Beatrice, if this reaches you, the backup plan we planned has occurred. The fund activated yesterday. Marcus Williams will reach out within 7 days. Recall our vow to one another. Dignity forever. With all my affection, Howard." I held the note close to my chest. Moisture gathered in my eyes for the initial time since entering Golden Sunset. Not from sorrow, but from confirmation. Howard had foreseen it. Naturally, he had. We both had. 3 days on, Marcus Williams, Howard's trusted lawyer, came to see me. We chose a spot in the modest outdoor area, distant from prying listeners. "Mrs. Warner," he addressed me officially, despite our long acquaintance. "The requirements for the unique fund are fulfilled. Following Mr. Warner's directives, you gain total command of the holdings." He passed me a binder with account details, access codes, and official papers. "The present worth is roughly $47 million. I accepted it without astonishment. Howard and I had arranged this fund 3 decades prior, a hidden safeguard against precisely this development. The rules were precise. The resources stayed inactive unless I was displaced from my dwelling contrary to my true desires by the alternate heirs, Diane and Richard. By placing me in Golden Sunset to offload our residence, they had unwittingly activated the provision that cut them out and granted me full authority over a wealth they were unaware of. There's additional information, Marcus went on. Mr. Warner directed me to tell you the proprietor of Golden Sunset Retirement Community seeks a buyer. It's private knowledge, but the price is $12 million. I grinned. Howard's prescience continually astonished me. Even after death, he offered me an ideal initial step. Proceed with the purchase at once, I directed. And Marcus, your skills will be required for various other issues too. During the subsequent 18 months, I operated discreetly, systematically. I overhauled Golden Sunset, renaming it Warner Senior Living Center, converting it from a warehouse for undesired seniors into a respectful haven offering superior support and stimulating programs. I bought 5 comparable sites throughout Arizona, applying identical guidelines and forming a charity to aid those unable to pay. Throughout, I got sporadic generic presents from my kids. A screen I seldom used, a device I left unboxed. Their appearances grew rarer, their justifications more inventive. I voiced no grievances, awaiting my moment. Then, precisely 2 years after they abandoned me at Golden Sunset, I told my aide to place a call. Inform them of a critical issue concerning their mother, I instructed. No specifics, only that they must arrive right away. The following day, I occupied the lead seat at my conference table in a custom blue outfit, examining growth strategies with Marcus when my assistant declared their entry. Diane stepped in ahead, her financial poise wavering upon viewing me in this unforeseen environment. Richard came next, with Victoria following hesitantly, her luxury shades still perched indoors. Mom. Diane's tone revealed her astonishment. What's happening? We heard about a crisis. I placed my spectacles aside and smiled. Yes, I requested the call. After 2 years, I had to invent a crisis to prompt a visit from my kids. Have a seat. Their bewilderment as they absorbed my look, the managerial suite, and the engraved plaque stating Beatrice Warner, CEO and proprietor, bordered on amusing. I suppose you're puzzled, I proceeded evenly. Allow me to clarify quickly. Yes, I control this center now. Yes, I've revamped its functions entirely, and yes, this was all supported by funds you never suspected. The following 60 minutes would alter our existences permanently. But as I geared up to disclose how profoundly they had misjudged their aging parent, I experienced not victory, but a serene assurance that fairness, not retribution, was imminent. How can this be? Richard uttered at last, his designer's gaze still absorbing the revamped setting, the refined workspace, the wooden desk, the panorama of well-kept lawns where scruffy grass once lay. A reasonable inquiry, I responded, unveiling the dossier Marcus had assembled. Your dad and I shared 47 years of marriage. Did you genuinely believe we overlooked any possibility? I pushed a paper toward them. It was a duplicate of the fund contract Howard and I had set up 30 years before. This is a unique fund your father initiated in 1992. It held equities in multiple ventures he aided in launching early on. Ventures that expanded greatly over the years. The fund featured exact triggering conditions. Diane, swift with figures, examined the text. Her finance background drew her to the total swiftly. Her gaze expanded. $47 million. Her words were hardly audible. At present, yes, I verified. At creation, it stood at around 2 million. Your dad had sharp insight into rising innovations. Victoria at last took off her shades, her refined society demeanor fracturing. I failed to grasp. If this wealth existed, why reside in that dated dwelling? Why did Howard bequeath the rest to Richard and Diane in his testament? I grinned tolerantly. The dwelling wasn't dated to us, Victoria. It was our sanctuary. Regarding the known will, that was authentic. But this fund served as our protection. I pointed to a certain section in the text. This section specified the fund would activate for me only if I was, to quote, displaced from my abode against my authentic desires by the alternate heirs. Richard blanched. You're implying Dad foresaw we'd place you in a care home to dispose of the house? Yes. I held a stare. Howard estimated about a 70% chance this would transpire within 3 years after he passed. He termed it his safeguard for Beatrice's honor. The ensuing quiet carried the weight of comprehension. The greatest irony, I added, is that I'd have relocated voluntarily if requested. The place grew hard to upkeep solo. But you never inquired. You chose as though I were an infant or an object to shift at your leisure. Diane, the realist, was plotting recovery already. Mom, we honestly thought this suited you best. The steps, being by yourself at your years. Enough, I cut in, lifting my palm. Let's avoid worsening things with falsehoods. I caught your talk in the clinic eatery about the land's value rise, about schemes for the proceeds, Richard's seaside retreat in the Hamptons, Diane's stake in that innovation firm. They shared culpable looks, exposed in the deception. But that's past now, I declared, aligning documents on my surface. I've employed the fund to acquire this center, refurbish it thoroughly, and obtain 5 akin operations in Arizona. We're launching a 6th in Tucson shortly. I motioned to the glass where dwellers savored the outdoors, joined art sessions, or conversed in cozy spots. Each person here gets the respect they merit in their later phase, a courtesy I wasn't initially granted. Victoria, regaining her poise, altered her approach. Well, Beatrice, this is quite remarkable. We're pleased for your achievements, naturally, though I wonder why you chose this theatrical disclosure. A simple call would suffice. I grinned as you phoned me, Victoria, or appeared as pledged. The crisis was just a sensible fix for the contact barrier you established. Before Victoria could retort, I activated the speaker. Marcus, please deliver the additional dossier. Marcus came back with a substantial binder, setting it down before departing quietly. In my initial period here, I had ample idle moments, I clarified, flipping it open. I started getting odd fiscal papers sent to me, bank letters, revenue alerts for deals I allegedly approved. It puzzled me initially until I grasped the reality. I displayed multiple papers, orienting them for my kids and daughter-in-law to view. You didn't merely vend my residence. You imitated my signature on forms shifting my pension funds, minor holdings, and even secured debts under my identity. Rather inventive, I'll concede. Richard faced Diane in dismay. You claimed Mom sanctioned all this. Don't stare at me that way, Diane snapped. Victoria proposed the debts, and you gladly took the cash for your fresh design office. Intriguing how fast you betray one another, I remarked. Marcus, whom you encountered before, is an ex-federal litigator focused on monetary deceit. He figures your deeds warrant roughly 15 years behind bars. Imitation, fiscal scam, personal theft, senior monetary mistreatment. The catalog is quite notable. All 3 grew pale together. Luckily for you, I went on, I lack desire to watch my offspring and daughter-in-law decay in jail. I offer another option. I advanced 3 papers across the surface. These are repayment packs. You'll liquidate all bought with my pilfered funds. The Hampton seaside property, the new design office, that absurd vessel, stakes from illicit resources. All earnings will go to the fresh charity I've founded to assist elders lacking means obtain honorable support. This is blackmail, Victoria objected. No, dear. This is equity. My grin stayed chilly. The option is I contact the authorities immediately. Marcus has readied all required files for an official grievance. Diane, quickest to spot a defeat, grabbed her writing tool. What's the timeline? 90 days to sell off everything. Marcus will monitor to confirm no concealment. I regarded them each. And one further stipulation. You 3 will serve here as unpaid helpers 1 weekend monthly for the coming 2 years. Serve here. Victoria appeared appalled. Yes, Richard will aid with upkeep and fixes. Diane will guide dwellers on money matters. And you, Victoria dear, will suit the washing section ideally. The following hush was total. Why? Richard inquired eventually. Why not simply report us? Because you must witness the impact of abandoning individuals, I answered, feeling creeping into my words. You must view the expressions of those left behind, ignored. You must comprehend what it entails to view people as burdens. I neared the surface once more and, truthfully, because this will teach far more than incarceration. I envision your upcoming Hamptons gathering will be much less enjoyable explaining the property sale, Richard. Or your finance peers probing your abrupt stock sales, Diane. Or your social group inquiring about the vanished boat, Victoria. I inclined a head. You picked wealth over kin. Now you'll possess neither. Diane regained her balance first. Decades of intense deals aiding her, even amid this intimate turmoil. We'll require time to examine these pacts with our counsel, she declared, trying to reclaim authority. Certainly, I responded, advancing a contact card. Marcus details. Your counsel can connect straight. Yet, note that the time limit for monetary deceit keeps ticking during your consideration. The pacts feature a no-charge provision that expires after 7 days. Victoria seemed close to collapsing. This will destroy us in society. Questions will arise. They will indeed. I concurred. Just as I fielded queries from care workers about my kid's absence or told my fresh companions here why no birthday calls came. Existence brims with uneasy social instances, doesn't it? Richard had stayed unusually silent, examining my features as if discovering me anew. Dad knew, he uttered at last, not inquiring, but realizing. He knew precisely what might occur, and he prepared. Your father excelled at assessing personalities, I affirmed. He grasped motives better than people did themselves. It fueled his triumphs in commerce and our union, Richard murmured, surveying the space at Howard's image on my surface. He truly cherished you. Yes, I stated plainly. And I him, hence why I pursue this resolution over legal pursuit. Howard wouldn't desire his kids imprisoned. Regardless of their deeds, Diane collected the papers with unsteady fingers. We'll reply within 7 days. Splendid. I stood, ending our discussion. Oh, and another item. I've set orientation for you all this Sunday at 8 a.m. Your initial unpaid session starts right after. But we haven't committed yet, Victoria contested. View it as a sincere show of your aims, I proposed softly, and a chance to grasp what you'll accept. Suitable clothing will be supplied. Once they departed, Victoria nearly sprinting to their upscale vehicle, Diane stiff with restrained anger, and Richard glancing back once with a look I couldn't interpret, I permitted myself a brief contemplation. This encounter had brewed for 2 years, yet I sensed no elation, no spiteful pleasure. Instead, a peculiar emptiness, as though I'd drained a long festering sore, essential but aching still. Marcus re-entered my space, shutting the entrance softly. How did it proceed? He questioned, though he'd probably caught every syllable through the slim barriers. As anticipated, I responded, taking off my spectacles and rubbing my nose bridge. Victoria worries over her status. Diane plots mitigation, and Richard could be reflecting. Marcus agreed, occupying the chair my daughter had just left. Howard always claimed Richard held the greatest promise for development. He merely required the proper spark. I grinned wistfully. Howard always trusted in human change with suitable incentive. It was among his dearest traits, that core hopefulness. And you, Beatrice, do you trust people can evolve? The query made me reflect. 2 years prior, my reply might differ, but after Golden Sunset, observing dwellers shift from isolated husks to involved, driven beings in the right setting, I'd seen astonishing shifts. I think the ability for evolution lessens with time, but persists somewhat, I responded thoughtfully. My kids are in their 40s, mature enough for set habits, but youthful enough to see when those habits falter. Marcus agreed, evidently content with my answer. The charity documents are submitted. When the repayment cash arrives, we'll admit our initial aided dwellers. This aspect of my scheme brought me the greatest joy, channeling the reclaimed funds to offer support for seniors who'd otherwise face inadequate public options or harsher fates. The Warner Foundation for Dignity and Aging would guarantee that money shortages wouldn't doom elders to their closing years in poverty or solitude. We ought to favor military veterans and past teachers, I recommended, and unmarried females over 75. They're especially prone to economic instability. I'll record that, Marcus answered, standing to go. And Beatrice, Howard would feel proud. Once alone, I rolled my seat to the pane surveying the area. Dwellers relished the midday warmth, some in a gentle exercise class on the grass, others caring for the shared plot we'd added. Mrs. Abernathy, a past music performer who'd come nearly unresponsive after her kin deserted her, played the grand instrument we'd positioned in the shared space, her tunes wafting via open frames. This embodied honor. Not merely tidy spaces and sufficient health aid, but direction, fellowship, affirmation of value irrespective of years or capability. Sunday came swiftly. I planned to be away during my kids' introduction, delegating it to my operations head. Certain limits were vital. This was outcome, not vengeance dream. I lacked urge to see their embarrassment in work garb and service attire. By early afternoon, interest overcame me. I conducted an informal check of the center, notepad ready, mimicking standard review. I spotted Richard in the eastern section, clumsily trying to mend a dripping tap guided by our maintenance chief, a straightforward ex-military technician who seemed utterly unimpressed by my son's elite education. The tool, lad. No, the other tool. Have you never gripped equipment before? Mr. Garrison remarked as I passed. In the cleaning area, Victoria, her stylish attire swapped for functional wear, her flawless nails covered by protective covers, learned the large-scale folding device. The utter humiliation on her features as she managed others' personal items would amuse if it didn't expose her nature so clearly. Diane, maybe coping best, was in the gathering area assisting a cluster of dwellers sort their money records. Her banking knowledge proved helpful, though her business speed was challenged by Mr. Goldstein's determination to detail every fiscal choice since 1962. None noticed my observations from thresholds or edges. The unseen nature of seniors, which I'd first resented, now aided me. I observed their difficulties with novel duties, their irritation clear but held under staff oversight, briefed on the matter. At day's close, as they shuffled to their rides, weary, unkempt, and devoid of their typical gloss, I felt no joy, merely a soft wish that empathy seeds had taken root. Not solely empathy for my treatment, but for society's habit of rejecting its aged as worn-out, troublesome leftovers. 5 days on, Marcus delivered their endorsed packs. All 3 had yielded to my conditions, probably grasping the alternatives were graver. The breakdown of their wrongly gained holdings would commence promptly. Stage 1 done, I whispered, gazing at the sun dipping over the arid land from my workspace pane. Now the true effort. The disposal was rapid and unforgiving. In 30 days, Richard's design firm sold to a rival. Victoria's cherished craft listed for bid, and Diane unloaded the share collection built from my taken pension. The Hampton seaside spot, scarcely decorated and barely utilized, hit the market at a minor deficit due to haste. Marcus directed each deal with precise care, assuring no hiding or undervaluation. With every completion, funds transferred straight to the newly formed Warner Foundation for Dignity in Aging. The societal backlash matched my predictions. Richard's career network hummed with guesses on his abrupt reduction. Victoria's elite circle murmured about the family's evident money woes. Diane's finance associates eyed her quick disposal of what she'd called enduring strategies. I tracked these not from spite, but to verify adherence. The shame they endured was inherent result of their choices, not extra penalty I'd devised. Their weekend unpaid duties persisted, each more insightful than prior. Victoria's early disgust at cleaning duties slowly became routine skill. She'd never relish it, but her ego pushed mastery in any task. Diane's meetings aiding dwellers' money plans exposed how many suffered family exploitation, compelling her to face uneasy similarities. Richard, unexpectedly, adapted most, progressing from bungling basic repairs to true fixes, even proposing layout ideas for better room access. By month 3, the repayment pool reached $6.2 million. Still below what they'd taken, but a strong base. Marcus and I started assessing requests for the charity's initial aided entrance. This candidate, I said, advancing a file. Margaret Jenkins, 82, retired primary instructor. Spouse past sans coverage. Home loan reversal drained her equity, now car dwelling. Marcus listed her as priority. And this man, Samuel Washington, 79, war veteran, lost housing when structure turned luxury. staying in a refuge risking removal for mild memory loss. Gradually, we pinpointed the neediest, those slipped through the frail elder support web. By session's end, we chose 20 for prompt aid. How quickly can we admit them? I queried. East section updates finish next week. Intake could start the subsequent Monday. I assented, warmth filling me after long absence. This drove it all. Not payback on my kids, but regaining control to assist others nearly cast off like me. That Sunday marked another unpaid duty for my kids and daughter-in-law. I typically stayed distant, letting staff oversee, but today varied. As they showed, now timely, having discovered delays meant extra time, I summoned them to my workspace. Morning I welcomed, pointing to seats facing my surface. Prior to your tasks, I wish to share news. Their fatigue showed. Our exchanges past months were sparse and businesslike. Tomorrow we greet the debut 20 Warner Foundation aid recipients, I detailed, pushing a binder over. These folks gain full residency gratis, backed by your repayments. Richard flipped it open, browsing short life summaries. His features eased while reading. They'll occupy the east section, I added. I'd like you three to prep their spaces today. Victoria, manage final tidying and bedding. Diane, assemble entry kits with basics. Richard, help arrange furnishings for diverse movement needs. Is this punishment extension? Victoria queried, her voice weary of instruction. No, Victoria, I responded steadily. This is learning. These 20 stand for multitudes similar. Senior citizens who labored lifelong only to end deserted, broke, and overlooked in twilight years. I rose, approaching the pane. Tomorrow, meet Mrs. Jenkins, who instructed grade school 42 years, shaping future professionals who ignored her homelessness pleas. Or Mr. Washington, twice wounded in combat, now unable to medicate unaided. I face them. You'll assist their arrival because they earn respect. And I want you witnessing the individuals your repayments aid, grasping your brief hardship yields lasting relief for others. A change appeared in Richard's look. Maybe insight or the initial true feeling I'd noted since starting. We'll handle it, he declared before Diane or Victoria objected. Next on, I positioned at the east entry as our transport delivered the first Warner Foundation aid recipients. My kids and Victoria stood rear, in center's helper outfits, identifiers clear. Mrs. Jenkins exited first, gripping a sack seemingly holding her last items. Her garments tidy yet faded. Her stance bent from bone condition, her gaze cautious from street hardship. Mrs. Jenkins, I welcomed, offering my palm. I'm Beatrice Warner. Welcome to your fresh abode. She grasped tentatively. Is it genuine? I can remain. No eviction. It's genuine. I reassured. This is yours as desired. Tears brimmed her eyes. I educated 42 years. Never imagined homelessness. None foresee it, I said softly, leading inside, where Richard awaited to guide her quarters. One after another, new dwellers came, each bearing tales of loss, desertion, or harsh fate. A past caregiver who depleted savings on her Alzheimer's spouse. A retired laborer whose benefits vanished in firm collapse. A 90-year scribe whose small earnings couldn't cover cardiac drugs and shelter together. I noted my kids' expressions as they aided these aged unknowns settle, detailing features, responding queries, toting sparse sacks embodying compressed lives. Victoria's typical scorn vanished, swapped by awkward consciousness. Diane's speed held, but gentled with each aid. And Richard. Richard truly heard, stooping for faint voices, crouching despite fine slacks to aid an elder reclaim a fallen picture. By day's close, all 20 aid recipients were placed. As my kids readied departure, drained from day's labor both bodily and heartfelt, I halted them at the exit. Appreciate your aid today, I stated plainly. Richard stayed after others left, pausing as if seeking words but unsure starting. What, Richard? I urged. Mrs. Jenkins, he said at last. Shares your birth date, I assented, surprised he noted. It might have been you, Mom, he proceeded, tone hushed. Without Dad's fund, without means to resist, it might have been you car living. Yes, I admitted it might. He held my gaze, and after decades, I saw my boy. Not the thriving designer, not Howard's successor, not Victoria's mate, but the considerate lad with empathy potential before drive and status buried it. "See you next Sunday," he said, departing solo to his ride. 3 months into the setup, initial fissures emerged. Not in my precise scheme, but in the masks my kids long upheld. The weekly unpaid duties, firstborn as harsh penalty, started yielding unforeseen results. Richard showed early one Sunday, locating me in the outdoor space, where I frequently passed serene mornings pre-center activity. "Mom," he approached cautiously. "Got a moment?" I indicated the vacant seat nearby. "Sure," he settled, body rigid, palms locked between legs. "I've pondered Mr. Abernathy's quarters. The setup fails his mobility aid. Bath entry too slim, closet levels unreachable." This surprised Richard, caring for a dweller past duties. "I've drawn adjustments," he added, unfolding paper from pocket. "Basic shifts for big mobility gain. I could apply them with upkeep crew." I reviewed his sketches, considerate, useful changes showing true grasp of Mr. Abernathy's requirements. "These are superb, Richard. Considered similar for other mobility-challenged dwellers?" A spark crossed his features. Curiosity, maybe thrill. I could survey the whole center. Rank needs by dweller. Craft uniform fixes for all sites. "Our sites," I amended softly, his look dimmed. "After our actions, I scarcely think." "The Warner Foundation controls these centers," I interjected. "And despite all, you're still Warner. Your legacy choice is yours." Next week, Victoria missed the unpaid duty. Richard noted they were separating briefly. His tone lacked feeling relaying this, like noting slight weather shift. Diane arrived unusually messy. Questioned, she muttered on bank changes and dove into tasks with odd fervor. I watched these shifts with the objective distance serving my scholarly path. The strain caused breakdowns in their built lives. Just as Howard predicted. My spouse always said traits surface under stress, and my kids validated his idea. By month 4, the repayment pool hit $8.7 million. The Hampton spot sold finally, with Diane's State Group and most Richard's firm holdings. Victoria's standing unclear. She joined required duties, but shared no private details. The charity now aided 47 dwellers across 3 centers, planning more. Each admission day, my kids joined welcoming these fragile seniors, shifting from forced obligation to near sincere participation. One night post-board session, Marcus stayed reviewing recent fiscal summaries. "Victoria seeks divorce," he advised neutrally. I expected, I responded, not startled. Victoria wed Richard for potential and ties. The prodigy designer with prosperous dad fit her ascent plan. Sans wealth symbols, Richard offered scant to her focuses. "Richard appears unbothered," I noted. Marcus assented. "Actually, he seeks extra unpaid time. Prefers here over home amid packing." This intrigued. Finding solace in aid over self-sorrow. Maybe Howard's trust in our boy's growth potential held merit. Diane's case grew intricate. Her finance path, founded on fierce speed and firm assurance, started crumbling. Whispers of her sudden money issues questioned her wisdom. The irony struck me. Her career fall sparked by the greedy ideals her field instilled. Despite these personal storms, or do them, Richard and Diane grew more involved in charity efforts. Richard's design knowledge became full-access program across centers. Diane, minus her finance status, started money education classes for dwellers, many fraud victims targeting seniors. 6 months into setup, I called them to my space post-duty. Victoria ceased 3 weeks prior, opting fines over continued aid. Divorce matters apparently took her focus. "I summoned you to talk future," I started as they sat. "You've finished half required hours, and repayment pool nears $9 million. They glanced, wondering if I'd changed terms. "The charity expands quicker than foreseen," I added. "Now scholarship in 3 centers, 2 more by year close. Growth demands more direction." I pushed 2 binders over. "These are employment proposals, real roles with Warner Foundation, fitting pay and perks. Richard, we seek facility layout and access head. Diane, we seek money safeguard promoter to aid dwellers secure finances. Their shock clear. Diane reacted first, her finance sense leading as she checked details. This is actual role, she noted, reading duties. With actual pay, far less than bank, I admitted. But includes what prior lacked. What? She queried. Meaning, I answered plainly. Chance to apply finance skills shielding fragile seniors from practices your bank likely used. Richard stayed quiet, poring over his proposal. Why? He asked finally. After our deeds to you, why entrust us? I weighed reply. Not forgiveness yet, but potential. Because I've observed you, I detailed. Not mere adherence, but change these months. You've viewed dwellers as individuals, not nuisances. You've used talents enhancing lives unprompted. You've displayed growth ability. I leaned in. Howard trusted change via right drive, not penalty alone, but via new views and meaningful input chance. Diane's sharp mind processed. These roles swap unpaid duties. They reshape them, I corrected. You'd work here, but professionally beyond basic chores. The charity needs your talents if you'll apply beyond self-benefit. Richard shut binder. Need thinking time. Naturally, I agreed. 7 days, but no offers aren't easing penalty. They demand greater dedication, accountability than now. After departure, I stayed in space, viewing desert dusk tint peaks in dim red. Howard and I often sat admiring this from yard, debating kids' progress, fretting over material values they absorbed. The trial isn't falling, Howard said. It's rising choice. My kids fell. Partly self-choice, partly society reinforcement. Their rise would shape not just futures, but family heritage. I lacked certainty on choices, but first since start, I sensed hope akin. 1 week later, exactly timed, Richard and Diane returned to my space. They came apart but joined entry, silent unity unseen in years. We've decided, Diane opened, always forthright. I signaled seats. I'm attentive. Richard set binder on surface. I accept one condition. Unexpected. What? I wish role expansion, he stated, holding gaze confidently. Beyond refits, design new senior community type from start, dignity, and self-reliance core. I examined Sun's features, noting zeal absent since boyhood, showing Howard and me initial sketches. Quite bold. I've studied senior-friendly innovations from Nordic and Asian sources, he added. Blend areas fighting loneliness. Use universal layout for shifting abilities sans institutional feel. We could transform U.S. aging experience. His fervor authentic. Not rehearsed client charm, but profound. And you, Diane? I faced daughter, who'd observed brother expressionlessly. She straightened unseen fold in attire, childhood anxious sign. Got central bank offer. Back as top VP, big pay rise, prime space. Her tone dull, listing perks emotionless. Well done, I said sincerely. Despite all, never wished career ruin. Declined it, she added, startling me. Accepting yours instead, but like Richard, expand. How? Senior money exploitation, $3 billion yearly crime, she declared. Banker accuracy back. Not enough resident teaching. Want nationwide safeguard system. Oversight services, scam spotting, policy push. I leaned back, truly struck. Far beyond offered scope. Yes, she admitted, but needed scope. Spent 20 years enriching rich. Next 20 preventing victimhood for weak. My kids shift remarkable, not just ambitions, but presentation. Gone Richard's crafted genius air. Gone Diane's edged business self. They appeared simpler, truer selves. Victoria? I queried Richard softly. Shadow on face. Divorce ends next month. New York role in style promotion. Won't finish unpaid hours. Aware, I answered. Marcus arranged fine addition to repayment. She picked path. Richard assented, relief mixed sadness. Best way. Different wants always. Saw only after externals stripped. Yes, I completed. He agreed softly. I regarded both. These kids who ditched me inconvenient, stolen remorseless, assumed I'd vanish quietly institutionalized. Long-nursed rage softened to nuanced. Not exact forgiveness, but comprehension. Products of surroundings, values molded by youth worship, success, possession culture supreme. Positions start next month, I resolved. Standard trial applies. Report to charity board, not me direct. Repayment duties hold till full, adjustable for new pay. Relief on faces, not escape, but forward path. Thanks, Diane said officially. Not yet, I warned. Roles challenge unlike prior careers. Battling age bias, scarce funds, official apathy. Success gauged not profit or fame. Richard grinned truly, Howard reminiscent. Sounds what we need. Post-departure, Marcus entered with reports. Assume accepted. With bold conditions, I answered. Like parents, he noted wryly. I arched brow. Never ambitious. Respectfully, Beatrice, 1970s female math professor wed innovative starter, built business with academia. Now reshaping elder support, guiding kids ethical renewal. If not ambition, what? Assessment drew my first true laugh long. That night, I toured center, noting dwellers in evening pursuits. Mr. Washington chess teaching Mr. Abernathy. Past discord forgotten in tactic share. Mrs. Jenkins poetry session in book nook. Teacher tone clear guiding aged learners through Dickinson. Art space, 3 aid dwellers joint mural of lives, Richard suggested, self-funded. These once rejected formed purposeful group. Reclaimed selves beyond age, frailty. Found closing meaning. Watching, realized Howard's fund exceeded my money freedom. Created unforeseen legacy. Foundation maybe altering U.S. elder treatment. And, surprisingly, offering kids redo to hoped selves. Later, at surface journaling, Howard encouraged habit our marriage. Record makers write history, he said. Documented since Golden Sunset drop-off. First abandonment proof, later response log, now family evolution testament. Today, less data, more thoughtful. 6 months back, thought justice. Kids paying betrayal, learning consequence what example failed. Now unsure. Restitution became rebuild, not structures or schemes, but character. Howarded claim plan always. Maybe. My insightful spouse horizon gazed. Kids altered. So I. Crucible transformed, pretense burned, essentials reduced, new formed. Permanence unseen, but possibility replaces old bitterness. Shut journal, Druid, bed prepped. Tomorrow challenges, Tucson launch, 3rd aid intake, budget talks expanded. At 75, not ending work, starting. Thoughts smiled me to slumber. Warner Foundation surged past optimistic forecasts. Within 8 months, Richard Diane rolls. Program 7 centers Arizona, New Mexico, over 200 aid dwellers, full support. Richard's model from idea to blueprints, build start Sedona spring. Design mixed advanced access to mixed age zones seniors interact all generations. Traditional isolation erased via deliberate choices. Diane turned safeguard into legislator-studied model. Her bank insight, once profit max, now spots prevents senior exploitation. Assembled retired finance pros volunteering review dweller money, spot fraud, set defenses. My role shifted as work noted. Demanded speaker advocate. Testified state panels elder abuse, national media interviews dignity care, consulted centers adopting model. External praise nice, true success daily dweller lives. Mrs. Jenkins, once street despite teaching, leads mixed-age education, linking seniors local kids. Mr. Washington stabilized care, tense plots precisely. Each restored life tiny win versus discard system post-productive. 6 months post-birthday, Richard invited Sedona ribbon-cut prototype, complete ready dwellers. Named Horizon House, sans Warner, I backed. Facility embodied thriving over existing learned. Architecture breathtaking. Richard's best. Structures blended red rocks. Aesthetic practical. Solar met power, water harvest low impact. Innovation spaces function. Unlike segregate tradition, Horizon integrated. Public open dweller run eatery. Studio seniors teach all ages. Health subtle not dominant. Units varied independence, transition sans leave. Day pre-open, Richard private tour. Walking, he seemed thoughtful. Mind something? I asked bench rest courtyard view. He paused, then queried, ever ponder sans dad's fund? If house sold normal continue. I weighed carefully. Often. I confessed chance hard resist mathematician. Likely continued golden old form. Okay care little purpose. Duty visits you Diane sans bond. Slow fade mind body. Richard flinched assessment, but alternatives, I added. Maybe purpose and limits, book club, condition push. Determination blooms odd spots. Generous, Richard quiet. Truth we'd live mostly untouched your fate. Holiday visits, generic gifts, guilt-eased professing pro-care better. Honesty marked self-growth. Perhaps I allowed, but uncertain. Timeline disrupted dad foresight, Richard added. Your tactic apply. I smiled, describe. Father I good pair. He vision, I compute execute. Ideal bond, Richard agreed, silent wrestling more. More discuss, I prompted soft. Yes, family legacy continuation lately, natural building enduring I noted. Yes, personal too. Deep breath. Victoria I talking. Unexpected. What way? Shared past maybe future people, he looked sheepish admit. Changed mom. Mother illness experience, foundation work, shifted priorities. Neutral face, internal mixed. Victoria growth remarkable, capable committed advocate. But participant abandonment fraud. Worry no approve, I guessed. Crossed mind, admitted smile. History complex. Lycée, I weighed response. Foundation exists people change consequence growth chance. If not apply Victoria, wouldn't back exec role. Relief features. Not oppose reconcile explore? Approval unneeded personal Richard. 47 adult. Paused, soft added. But matters, believe redo shown change, not promise. Victoria genuine shift. Build choice yours. Nodded measured accept. One more, proposal horizon foundation future. Outlined idea, full research attach horizon study aging social psych medical. Recognized Howard influence. Vision enduring positive generations precise legacy aspired. Howard Warner Institute Aging Studies, Richard ended. Thoughts? Emotion throat sudden. Father deeply honored think. Next day ceremony, stood Richard Diane midst leaders pros first dwellers celebrate horizon open. Victoria attended supportive apart. Speech time, ditched prepared, feeling miss essence. 2.5 years back, began. Packed small bag driven retirement kids. 75 widowed inconvenient valued most. Hush crowd. Richard Diane steady, accept public hard history. Moment could end. Instead circumstances husband anticipated remarkable, became start, not me, 100 seniors discarded post-society family contribution. Gestured facility behind. Horizon more innovate build compassionate practice. Embodies rethink aging society often value youth productivity. Here elders not manage problems, treasure resources, wisdom experience perspective youth fix culture needs desperate. Viewing crowd continued, facility exists people systems change. Own kids once inconvenience store now partners vision. Health pros once physical focus now holistic collaborate. Finance exploit elderly now scrutinize reform advocacy. Turned slight Richard Diane. Transform rare easy sans resist. Sometimes reckon hard growth pain. But allow change consequence compassion equal, remarkable heal possible. Concluded remark ceremony continue, felt Howard presence strong, not spirit, but shared vision form physical. Trust establish insurance grown unpredicted. Legacy transcend money security address human dignity worth fundamental. Circle abandonment complete ironic profound. Intended family remove create new family, beyond blood, share commit honor life final chapters all. Howard visionary appreciate symmetry elegant all. 3 years day left golden sunset, woke early garden way. Desert dawn break mountains, sky delicate pink gold paint. At 78, deeper quiet appreciate. Time gift finite aware. Warner Foundation grown beyond Howard I envision. 9 centers southwest northeast, over 600 aid dwellers dignified support. Howard Warner Institute research influence national age elder protect policy. More personal, kids relation evolution. Calculated consequence lesson transform genuine partner gradual reconcile approach. Not easy forget some forgive call, complex heal, acknowledge wound past create interaction new patterns. Richard Victoria reconcile, not expect way. Sans remarry, thoughtful friend pro collaborate establish. Richard architecture Victoria organize effective remarkable east expand. Some wound heal sans scar erase complete. Diane fulfill unexpected role legis advocate. Natural intense once corp advance, now fuel passionate elder right defend state capitals country. Recent appoint Federal Commission Medicare Social Security Reform, position utilize finance expert society benefit sans personal gain. Sun clear horizon, footsteps approach garden path heard. Marcus bench join, coffee offer. Up early, observe. Anniversary sorts, reply. 3 years today golden sunset arrive small suitcase diminish expect. Not understand. Now own place, others among. Foundation own, correct gentle. Merely steward. Companionable silence sat, coffee sip garden alive morning light. Marcus Moore Howard attorney advisor. At 74, peer connect rare age. Reviewed foundation succession docs said final. Order all transition whenever decide time. Smiled diplomatic. Mean decide full retire die, whichever first. Not blunt quite, acknowledge small smile. But yes essential, foundation continuity secure regardless individual involve. Primary concern past year, ensure built out last, change systemic initiate continue lifetime beyond, not ego, practical recognize meaningful transform require sustain effort generations cross. Howard pleased said. Continuity always focus, even plan potential betray. Marcus nod. Once told contingency not punish wrong potential, but create condition right action emerge eventual. Insight husband think warm me. Howard maintain fundamental optimist human potential, even calculate frailty probability human. Later morning, kids arrive schedule quarter leadership meet. Gatherings evolve formal board into integrate strategy plan sessions, each contribute particular expert foundation develop continue. But today purpose different, kids unaware after usual update discuss conclude. Open folder contain docs prepare Marcus assist. Before adjourn, began, address personal matter affect foundation future. Richard Diane exchange concern glances, likely assume relate health capacity. At 78, concerns reasonable not, though vital remarkable remain. 3 years today continue, brought golden sunset, belief final residence pre-death. Decision, motivate self-interest sans well-being, inadvertent set motion, everything build together since. Listen attentive, no longer defensive share history. Revisit enough times sharp betray edges worn smooth honest acknowledge. Anniversary prompt consider own live arrange explain. While apartment here adequate perfect, desire change find. Think move horizon house? Richard ask, obvious please possibility. Custom space design new east wing. Actually no reply slide folder toward. Purchase house, my house precise. Family home. Confusion evident open folder find deed house sold 3 years prior. House grow up, Howard I build life together. How possible? Diane asks done. Developer never begin plan renovate, complete her. Finance difficult apparent. Property tie bankruptcy proceed past 2 years. When available final, Marcus monitor close. Bought back family house, Richard said slow, process complex equation. Why not tell consider this? Because needs certain own motivate explain. Seek reclaim past? Symbolic state fortune reverse? Neither healthy reason purchase such. Conclude what? Diana ask, analytic mind seek clear always. At 78, like spend remain years home happy long, said simple. Not nostalgia, but suit space me, memory fill, also possibility. Watch express careful, note complex emotion play features. Surprise certain, guilt touch reminder taken me, but grow understand. Foundation office remain here, continue. Maintain active role found director, slight reduced schedule. House private residence, place garden again, host small gather, simple Beatrice Sands Mrs. Warner admin advocate. Sound perfect, Richard said, genuine warm voice. When move. Next month reply. Some access modify complete first. Nothing change house character, just practical accommodate aged joints. Like help move? Dine offer. Few days off Legis sessions. Offer touch me. Not practical assist, but recognize significant. Appreciate, acknowledge. As meet conclude prepare leave, Richard linger behind. Something want ask, said alone. Wonder 3 years now. What? That first day find garage empty confront me sell dad Mustang. Seem sad not surprise, almost expect. Pause, study face careful. No even then? Somehow anticipate do? Consider question thoughtful. Truth complex worth share. Father I discuss many scenario illness during explain Mustang test sorts. Valuable ultimate replace object tremendous sentimental significant. Calculate if sold sans consult me. Other serious finance exploit likely follow. Understand Dawn Express. So told car no fund likely activate soon, confirm. Though still hope wrong follow. Absorb remarkable calm. Dad really think everything, not everything. Correct gentle. Never anticipate foundation or transform or new family form create. Provide condition possibility, but emerge beyond calculate. After Richard left, return garden, complete day circle sun begin descent behind mountains. Tomorrow bring new challenge, Legis battle 3 states, construct issue Colorado Center, ongoing research Howard Warner Institute. But today anniversary, allow self simple present far travel all rainy Tuesday kids left behind. Journey not expect any. Pain lead purpose. Justice evolve heal. Broken rebuild, not identical, but strong acknowledge fracture perhaps. Mathematician mind, calculate probability outcome 3 years ago, less 5%. Howard better odds give, optimist balance pragmatism my. As usual, intuitive understand human potential prove accurate more statistic analysis my. Twilight descend desert, whisper words meant only him. Right, love my, often were. Circle complete, not end, but transform spiral continue evolve long after I, like Howard, departed. Lesson painful learn teach endure foundation work, change lives policies, fundamental shift society view eldest members. Enough. More enough. Legacy. Give me a rating from 0 to 10 in the comments on your thoughts about the tale, and subscribe to get top tales daily.